The meaning of life. Some philosophers reject the existence of any such meaning and hold that life is meaningless. Their opponents, who hold that life is indeed meaningful, fall into two main groups: those who hold that the meaning of life is external and comes from God or some other transcendent source, and those who hold that life's meaning is internal to humanity. Hi, I'm Pete Mandic, and this is a Mind Chunks Moment. The most familiar version of the view that the meaning of life is something external holds that the meaning of life for humans derives from God, and further involves some version of life after death. On this view, if God didn't exist, and bodily death was the end of a human's existence, then being alive would be an enterprise utterly devoid of meaning or purpose. Such a view has been criticized widely. One criticism is that this view of meaning depends on God's existing, which is something that is often called into question. But there are other problems for this external view of life's meaning, problems that arise even if God exists. One such problem is that God's purpose for humans is often described as beyond human comprehension. Humans are asked, then, to simply have faith that there's a meaning of life. But why couldn't humans simply have faith that life has a meaning independent of any plan or purpose of God's? That wouldn't be any less absurd, would it? Yet another problem with this God-based view of the meaning of life is that it is hard for many to believe that even if we could understand what God's purpose for us was, that we would thereby derive any sense of meaningfulness from that. Suppose that God revealed to humans that his plan for us was to serve as a food source for non-human extraterrestrials. Nothing that we did with our lives would make them more or less meaningful, as long as we kept ourselves edible. Against such externalist views of life's meaning stands the argument that the meaning of life only makes sense if it is not dependent on such an external or transcendent source. What, then, are the internalist alternatives? Some examples include the following: to fully engage in some use of one's skills, as in the making of art; to cultivate deep and lasting friendships and other relationships; to take up a cause for the betterment of humanity, as in political activism or charitable service. These and other examples have been embraced by many as rich sources of meaningfulness that do not depend on a source external to humanity.